Thank you very much. So I would like to also thank you for your enthusiasm to be here on the last day to hear after this all of the activities. Yeah. So I'm Amit Singh. I'm currently a PhD student at Paderborn University, working in the area of psycholinguistics and cognitive science. I'm actually also supervised by Katharina Rohlfing, and we are also part of constructing explainability, which is an interdisciplinary center to study explainable AI and the phenomena behind explanations. So with that word, I would like to start with one of the things which I took from the very first, talk of this morning. So this is a kind of really nice representation of how you place yourself in the area of like human-robot interaction. So either, as it was said, like either you find yourself to be you build robot to study human, or you study human to build robot. And I find myself to be on the upper side of this, where I use robots as stimuli to study human cognitive processes. So that's where my research lies, and I actually take my motivations mostly from interdisciplinary perspective, grounding on how to study this visual linguistic processes within a human-robot interactive setup. So that's for us a means to study cognitive processes. So talking about psycholinguistics, like why this all started. So it's in our project we were interested into grounding this idea of path and manner in an interactive scenario. And this idea is coming from truly grounding into psycholinguistics, which says that in all the languages you have this kind of like universal thing where all the action is being conceptualized in terms of manner and path. And this is also pretty interesting because in all the languages you find this concept, and that could be said with like a lot of research backing it. But there is also a twist towards that. It's that the path is receiving like more attention than the manner. It's kind of because path is conceptualizing the goal of the actions, and goal is having a prominent role in making human cognition towards how we perform actions. So we are typically biased towards our goal when we perform tasks. So that's why the reason behind why path remains in the salient aspect of this overall action conceptualization. We also found that, so we actually tried to replicate this in our study, because most of the studies are coming from psycholinguistics, but we wanted to study it in the frame of human-robot interaction, and we found that it's actually true that manner retrieval takes more time than the path retrieval when the participants are talking with the robot for some specific task aspects. So that's why we started to focus specifically on manners, like why it is attenuated from the attention, and why the path remains in the salient aspect. So that's why we actually started focusing more onto manner. And as you see here, we have a task where participants could actually perform one of the manners. For example, it's like horizontal manner, like how it is performed. And something like there is other manner which is like vertical. So we have two manners being represented here. And at the same time, we have like really nicely this path where we can manipulate like on which this alphabet the participant has to put the object. So we are actually manipulating these aspects in that. So this is one of the crucial aspects of our design, where we want to retain at the like interaction. At the same time, we want to have control. So most of the paradigms are in human interaction are being criticized of being not very controlled. And in that sense, we wanted to have this interaction with the different phases of it, where the robot takes some role, and there is a role switching taking place at the same time. And that's actually also influenced by how the turn taking is taking place with time. Because it's a very long timeline of interaction, I just want to focus here on a specific timeline to study linguistic and visual processes in that scenario. So yeah, talking about language vision interaction, for the very historically speaking, it's been like really in cognitive science from 1950s started with modularity, and this modularity idea suggests that the language and visual processes are not interactive at all, and this is one of the criticism going against the cognitivists' approach. And so we want to actually keep this language and vision to be in a continuous interactive fashion together, where they are creating mutual context for each other, where the vision acts as a context for language and language acts as a context for vision at the same time. So what is context? It's also like one of the ill-defined thing in cognitive science, where we can actually talk about context as something which is provided in front of us, which is very restricted, but context could be also very wide, taking social aspects and other things as well. So we actually wanted to create context and define context in terms of like manner and actions aspects. So what is happening so far in the task? So we take manners, for example, if some of the actions are being performed so far, and on top of which how participants are taking these actions as the background to perform the subsequent actions. So that's for us the context. Yet, but in future we are yet we want to actually expand it to some other domain. So this is our setup, where you can see like participant is interacting with the robot, and we have specific manners are being performed, and it is the instructions are with something should work. Yeah. So for example, the robot would say, place the specific object in a specific manner on a specific path. So we have these constituents there. And it goes on with the, okay, so there is something, wait. Okay. Yeah, so, okay, so it's like really loading. Yeah, so consider like we have a different sequence of manners, like with each trial, and we establish some context. So we have two conditions of the context. Either we can create, a rich context where all the possible actions have already been demonstrated before the final actions come in, and that's for us is rich context, and simple context where all the actions are of same orientation in this case. So we have the richness to be controlled. And in one of the scenarios, we just omit this manner information to see like how participants are behaving in that scenario. And that actually provides us a nice idea to bring in linguistic phenomena into this whole scenario. And what happens when we omit this manner information? We expect that the participants are asking questions, and these sort of questions are also conceptualized in the literature as repairs. So what are repairs? Repairs are kind of sized sequences which are triggered when some misunderstanding arises in the task, and these are like foundations for the social interaction, and we cannot live without those constituents, because it is actually very ingrained in our day-to-day conversation, and it's a kind of finding our path between the conversation. So these are actually kind of two types of repairs known in the literature. We have open, which is like very general, depending upon the scope, how it targets the source of misunderstanding. So how and where is kind of very general, and it has a repercussion for the attention that it targets very general scope. It's not really, it's really wide. And restricted, we have where the participant actually tells about provides more information about the source of misunderstanding to the participant, where it could be, for example, should I place it vertically or horizontally? So it's kind of more, So we had predictions depending upon vision and language interaction. In one of the cases, we actually predicted that visual context would affect this linguistic encoding, and in case that rich context would lead to more restricted requests. And on the other hand, we actually also had like language would affecting the vision, where the restricted repairs driving more attention to the rich context. So this is our finding. We actually do find that in rich model, participants are more likely to use restricted repairs than the open repairs. And in simple model, we also see, on the other hand, the participants are using more open requests than the restricted requests. So this context is somehow facilitating the use of restricted repairs. We also looked onto the eye movements of the participants, and we found that the rich situation model are attracting more attention than the simple situational model. So on the x-axis, we see the fixation duration. These are posterior predictive tests of the parameters. And yeah, so that's the other finding is that we expect that the language would also affect the vision in the case that when this encoding of the repairs would be guiding the visual, attentional processes on the context. And if we find that the restricted repairs in this, yeah, okay, never mind. So, yeah, so so here we see that when the restricted repairs are being used, participants are more likely to be fixating on rich model. And this we also found with respect to the time, and that's for us. Just quickly take away, what we take is that the visual influence language and language influences vision, and participants share more information about the source of trouble when the rich situation model is already established, or rich context is already established. And the sources of trouble of interaction revealed at linguistic and non-linguistic level and affecting each other essentially. And this setup also provides a way to, in future, to investigate more these phenomena in an interactive setup. So with that, I would like to thank you all, and also all the members. And yeah, I'm open for questions. Thank you.
Okay, it's time for a question. I can see one here, and in the meanwhile, I invite the next speaker to come so we can set up.
Hi, thank you so much for this really exciting talk. I think it's awesome that you're looking at repair in this really rich way. One thing I've thought about repair is how you can kind of use it to maybe like offload cognition onto others or the environment. And I'm curious in that, like, I guess like the open repairs, like,
yeah,
or the restrictive ones, like, you mean this?
Yes, yes.
And how they're being distributed differently in these different task difficulties, like what the source of trouble is. So like,
sure.
Are they paying less attention in like the simple task and they're just not listening? These are just like prompting, like, just, can you repeat it? I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah, sure. So there is
like
one
really
perspective.
recruiting more in the complex task.
Yeah. So there is one perspective which says that, like, when the participants are in a social context, they are interacting, it's a kind of, there is a responsibility about the task. So it is said that, like, repairs are actually highlighting, like, how more attention they are taking onto consideration before providing, this information to the counterpart. So it's like sometimes it's also considered like something like, so if I am a receiver of the thing and I'm initiating a repair, so it's like if I say like it's kind of also giving the same type of message that I have not actually considered whole situation, but I just like initiated it without taking all the things in it. So my attention was not on the task, for example. And if I say, for example, I don't know, like, should I place it vertically, and I provide more information about the task, it means that somehow I'm taking more responsibility about the task. So I was actually taking more, agency about the things, and I have some responsibility to provide you. So there is this distribution. So that's also one of the aspects which is coming in.
It's really cool that you found it like correlates with the task difficulty.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, let's thank Amit again, and
thank you.